Imagine being offered the greatest power of the ancient world, the title of Roman Emperor, the absolute ruler of the largest empire ever seen, and refusing. Not once, but 3 times. For many, this would be the pinnacle of glory. But this historical figure surprised everyone by rejecting what so many would desire. Why would someone give up such immense power? Was it due to principles, fear, or something even deeper? This decision not only changed the course of history, but also raised questions that resonate to this day. Get ready to uncover a story that will challenge everything you believe about power and sacrifice. Let's dive in. Imagine a bustling city, filled with exotic sounds and scents, where merchants shouted their offers and caravans brought tales from distant lands. This was the setting of Antioch in Syria, one of the jewels of the Roman Empire where Tiberius Claudius Pompeianus was born. But his life was far from a tale of wealth or privilege. There were no lavish banquets or grand palaces in his daily life. He was just an ordinary boy, the son of a dedicated man from the equestrian order, the second most important class in Roman society, but still far from the most powerful elite. From an early age, Pompeianus learned the value of hard work. While other children dreamed of glory without understanding its cost, he listened attentively to the stories of the great leaders and generals who shaped the world. Among the bustling alleys of Antioch, he began to believe that, despite his humble origins, he could achieve something extraordinary. The turning point in his life came when his father accomplished a remarkable feat, securing Roman citizenship for the family. This simple act changed everything. Being a Roman citizen was not just a title, it was the key to unimaginable opportunities. Now the path was open, but Pompeianus knew he would have to fight for every step. Soon, he enlisted in the army. For many, it would have been just another role within the vast machinery of the Roman military. But for Pompeianus, it was the perfect stage to prove his worth. While others followed orders, he stood out for his sharp mind and strategic sense. He wasn't just a warrior, he was someone capable of thinking like a true leader. As he rose through the ranks, Pompeianus began to draw the attention of his superiors. He was the rare kind of man who not only commanded respect, but also made his commanders believe he could change the course of a battle. And that's exactly what happened. Throughout challenging campaigns, Pompeianus earned recognition, titles, and a reputation that crossed the borders of the Roman provinces. Have you ever tried to unravel what made Rome the greatest empire in the world, only to get lost in a flood of details? Don't worry, you're not alone. Imagine finally mastering the most decisive moments in Roman history, discovering the brilliant strategies of generals like Julius Caesar and Scipio Africanus, and understanding how their tactics shaped the fate of the world. With this in mind, I've created the digital book, The 10 Battles That Shaped the Roman Empire, where you'll have access to a clear, objective analysis full of exclusive curiosities. Uncover how Rome won battles deemed impossible and become a true expert in Roman military history. Don't waste time. Click the pinned comment and secure your copy right now. Act fast before the units run out. But it wasn't just the battlefield that shaped him. Pompeianus had something unique, a combination of humility and controlled ambition. He dreamed big, but without losing sight of who he was and where he came from. And it was this blend of traits that would place him at the center of one of the most intriguing moments in Roman history. While the empire buzzed with political disputes and palace intrigues, Tiberius Claudius Pompeianus was about to discover that his story would be far more than just a brilliant military career, because, even with all his achievements, he would be remembered for something almost no one would dare to do: rejecting absolute power. And so the boy from Antioch began to etch his name into the annals of the empire. But how did he rise from being a simple soldier to a man who defied destiny, refusing what many would kill to have? That's what history is about to reveal. Before we continue, make sure to save the name and image of this channel so you can always return to this reliable source about Roman history. Now check if you've already subscribed, because here you'll find rigorously researched and well-presented facts about one of the most influential civilizations in history. Between the years 161 and 166 AD, the Roman Empire faced a serious threat from the east. The Parthians, a powerful rival empire known for their military prowess and strategic organization. It was in this challenging context that Tiberius Claudius Pompeianus began to shine. With exceptional talent for leadership and a strategic mind, he quickly gained notoriety in the Roman army. The Roman-Parthian War wasn't just another military campaign, it was an essential conflict to consolidate Roman power in the eastern region and protect the territories that ensured the empire's wealth and stability. The Parthians were formidable enemies, renowned for their cavalry and highly skilled archers. In this tense scenario, Pompeianus demonstrated extraordinary skills as a commander. His tactics were effective and well executed, resulting in crucial victories for Rome. Pompeianus's performance did not go unnoticed. He earned the trust of influential leaders and was promoted to the rank of senator, a prestigious position representing entry into the Roman political elite. Shortly after, in 162 AD, he was appointed consul, further confirming his meteoric rise. Being a consul wasn't just an honorary title, it was a position of real power, where critical decisions for the future of the empire were made. Following the successful conclusion of the Parthian campaign, Pompeianus was appointed military governor of Lower Pannonia, a crucial province located on the northern border of the Roman Empire. This region was constantly threatened by barbarian tribes, making the governor's role one of the most demanding and strategic. Only highly capable leaders were chosen for this position, and Pompeianus proved to be the right choice. During his administration in Pannonia, he faced serious external threats. One of these was the Lombard invasion, led by a Germanic tribe seeking to advance into Roman territory. With a meticulous and efficient approach, Pompeianus led his troops to a decisive victory, ensuring the region's security. Soon after, another threat arose. The Marcomanni, one of the most dangerous tribes of the time. Despite the magnitude of the challenge, he once again managed to protect the territory, solidifying his reputation as one of the empire's most skilled and reliable generals. These victories not only maintained stability on one of Rome's most vulnerable frontiers, but also reinforced Pompeianus's position as an indispensable figure in the Roman military and political landscape. His ability to face adversity, both on the battlefield and in the administration of a complex province, made him an example of effective and resilient leadership. These accomplishments ensured that Pompeianus's name would be remembered with respect, but his journey was far from over. The role he would play in the years to come would place him at the center of the empire's most important decisions, shaping his legacy in unexpected ways. Tell me in the comments if you know of any other man who would refuse to be emperor. I'd love to hear about your knowledge. Imagine the grandeur of the imperial palace in Rome. Halls adorned with white marble, sculptures of imposing gods, and the glow of torches illuminating serious, attentive faces. It was in this setting that Marcus Aurelius, the wise and philosophical emperor of Rome, made a decision that was not just personal, but profoundly strategic: to marry his young daughter Lucilla, just 21 years old, to the most trusted general in his empire, Tiberius Claudius Pompeianus. Pompeianus was no longer a young man. He had spent decades dedicating his life to protecting Rome, leading armies, defeating enemies, and consolidating borders. His reputation was impeccable, marked by courage, intelligence, and a rare ability to inspire loyalty. But this marriage was not merely about love or companionship, it was a political move. Marcus Aurelius knew that by uniting his daughter with the general, he further strengthened the ties between Pompeianus and the Antonine dynasty. Lucilla, for her part, was not just a young woman of remarkable beauty, she was ambitious and aware of her role as the emperor's daughter. Despite the age difference, the marriage to Pompeianus granted her a position of prestige and influence, connecting her to a man whom many considered indispensable for Rome's future. Marcus Aurelius's recognition of Pompeianus did not stop there. Aware of the general's abilities and unwavering character, the emperor made a proposal that could have changed the course of history, offering him the title of Caesar, officially making him the heir to the throne. It was a rare opportunity, an invitation to join the pantheon of the greatest leaders of the Roman world. However, Pompeianus made a decision that no one expected. He refused. For many, this would be incomprehensible. Who in their right mind would say no to the title of Caesar, to the power of ruling Rome, and to the prestige that came with it? But Pompeianus was not like the others. He was not driven by ambition or vanity. For him, his true place was on the battlefield, protecting Rome with sword and strategy, not on the imperial throne. He believed he could serve the empire better as a general, fighting where his experience was most needed. This refusal was not an act of disloyalty, but of profound respect and commitment. Pompeianus did not see the title as a prize, but as a burden he was unwilling to bear, believing his greater duty was to protect the empire from external threats. Marcus Aurelius, though surprised, respected the general's decision, reaffirming his trust in him. Despite refusing the title of Caesar, the marriage to Lucilla solidified Pompeianus's position in the imperial court. He remained one of the most influential figures in Rome, a man who balanced politics and warfare with unparalleled skill. But his choice to decline the throne was only the beginning of a series of challenges that would test his loyalty, character, and strength. Pompeianus's destiny, even far from the throne, remained intertwined with the heart of the empire. His story was far from over, and what was to come would show that sometimes the hardest choices are the ones that truly define a man. If you're enjoying this content and believe these stories about Rome are helping you better understand the empire that shaped the world, don't forget to leave a like. This not only helps spread the true history of Rome to more people, but also ensures YouTube shows you more videos like this. So, give a like and strengthen this journey of historical discovery. With the death of Marcus Aurelius in 180 AD, Commodus, his son, only 18 years old, ascended to the Roman Empire's throne. The change in leadership brought a new approach to governance, very different from Marcus Aurelius's meticulous and strategic style. The transition was especially significant in the context of the war against the Marcomanni, a Germanic tribe that had been the focus of Marcus Aurelius's final years of reign. Marcus Aurelius had a clear plan to deal with the Marcomanni, to continue the military campaign until achieving a decisive victory. He believed this was the only way to ensure lasting peace in the region. Pompeianus, as one of Marcus Aurelius's closest military advisors, shared this vision and understood the importance of successfully concluding the war. The Marcomanni represented a significant threat, and an incomplete resolution could weaken the empire's borders. Shortly after ascending the throne, Commodus was advised by Pompeianus to remain on the Danube frontier, where the Roman armies were still positioned to finish the campaign. Pompeianus warned that abandoning the war without a definitive victory could be seen as a sign of weakness, potentially encouraging other barbarian tribes to challenge Roman power. Moreover, a hasty withdrawal risked wasting years of sacrifice and military effort. Despite this advice, Commodus had other priorities. He viewed the war as an unnecessary burden and was more interested in returning to Rome, where he could consolidate his position as emperor and enjoy the benefits of life in the capital. Ignoring the warnings of Pompeianus and other experienced military leaders, Commodus decided to negotiate a peace agreement with the Marcomanni. Although this treaty brought a temporary truce, it was widely criticized as a weak solution that failed to address the underlying causes of the conflict. Commodus's return to Rome was marked by grand celebrations, during which he portrayed himself as the emperor who brought peace. However, within political and military circles, dissatisfaction was evident. Many saw the decision as a capitulation that could compromise the empire's future security. Pompeianus, in particular, was frustrated with Commodus's lack of strategic vision, but remained in his position as an advisor, trying to minimize the damage and protect the empire's interests. This decision by Commodus created tensions within the imperial administration and exposed a clear division between his impulsive approach and the more cautious, pragmatic vision of leaders like Pompeianus. The peace agreement did not solve the problem. It merely postponed future confrontations, while Rome's reputation as an unshakable military power began to be questioned. Commodus's choice marked the beginning of an unstable phase for the Roman Empire, where impulsive decisions and a lack of strategic planning started to undermine the stability that Marcus Aurelius and his advisors had worked so hard to build. Pompeianus, though deeply opposed to the actions of the new emperor, remained loyal to the empire, hoping for an opportunity to undo the damage caused by the new approach to governance. And don't forget to grab your digital book, 10 Battles That Shaped the Roman Empire. It's essential that you get your copy now before the units run out. In the heart of a turbulent Rome, where the walls of the imperial palace seemed to vibrate with intrigue, Lucilla, Commodus's sister, prepared to make a move that would change her life forever. As Marcus Aurelius's daughter, Lucilla inherited not only imperial blood, but also the weight of a legacy she believed her brother was destroying. To her, Commodus, with his reckless and self-centered rule, was a threat to Rome's future. Tired of watching from the sidelines, Lucilla became the heart of a daring conspiracy. She gathered allies, including discontented senators and military officials who saw Commodus as an incapable leader. The goal was clear: to remove the emperor from power. The conspiracy was, in part, a reflection of despair and, in part, an attempt to restore the order Marcus Aurelius had worked so hard to establish. However, conspiring against the emperor was a dangerous game. Lucilla's plans soon reached the ears of spies loyal to Commodus, who wasted no time in bringing the information to the throne. The reaction was immediate. Commodus, consumed by anger and paranoia, ordered the capture of all those involved, including his own sister. To him, this was not just a personal betrayal, but a direct attack on his authority. Lucilla was exiled, but this did not save her. Shortly after, she faced execution, a fate shared by all those involved in the conspiracy. The punishment was severe and symbolic, designed to deter any other would-be challengers to the emperor. Lucilla's name, once associated with the prestige of the Antonine dynasty, was tarnished by her failed attempt to overthrow Commodus. And what about Pompeianus? The seasoned general, who had been married to Lucilla, found himself in a precarious position. Although there was no proven connection between him and the conspiracy, his proximity to the plot placed him under suspicion. No longer a young man, Pompeianus bore the marks of years of loyal service to the empire. Determined to avoid further intrigues and conflicts, he chose to withdraw. He justified his decision by citing health problems and advanced age, but many saw this as a wise strategy to preserve his life and reputation. Retreating to his rural estates, Pompeianus disappeared from the public stage, ending a career marked by bravery, wisdom, and unwavering loyalty. For him, stepping away was not just a choice, but a necessity in an empire growing increasingly unpredictable. Even in retirement, Pompeianus's shadow still loomed over Rome. His silence was as impactful as his words and actions had been in the past. The absence of such a respected leader underscored that the empire was entering a new, more volatile era full of uncertainties. Meanwhile, Commodus continued his rule, but the winds of instability kept rising, and the consequences of his decisions would soon reveal that chaos was only beginning. Before continuing, I noticed you haven't subscribed to the channel yet. Don't miss out on all the content we regularly share about Rome. After the death of Commodus in 192 AD, Rome plunged into a period of political uncertainty. With no clear heirs to succeed him, the power vacuum left the Senate and military desperately seeking a leader capable of stabilizing the empire. In this context, Publius Helvius Pertinax, an experienced and respected administrator, emerged as the most viable choice to take the throne. Before formally accepting the title of emperor, Pertinax made an unexpected proposal to Tiberius Claudius Pompeianus, inviting him to assume leadership of the Roman Empire. Pertinax's decision was strategic. Pompeianus was widely recognized for his integrity, vast military experience, and reputation as a loyal defender of the empire. He represented a figure of stability at a time when Rome faced chaos. Pompeianus, however, declined the offer. Having already withdrawn from public life, he was seen by many as motivated by a combination of factors. First, he cited his advanced age and health issues, which he claimed made him unfit for such a heavy responsibility. Second, he understood that Rome's political environment was poisoned by internal disputes and betrayals, making the imperial throne an extremely risky position. Additionally, Pompeianus was acutely aware that the Praetorian Guard, an extremely influential military force, had become a source of instability, pursuing its own interests at the expense of the empire's stability. With Pompeianus's refusal, Pertinax was confirmed as emperor. Despite his good intentions, he faced enormous challenges from the start. Pertinax attempted to implement a series of reforms to restore order and rebalance the empire's finances, which had been depleted by Commodus's extravagant administration. Among his most controversial measures was his attempt to discipline the Praetorian Guard, which had long enjoyed excessive privileges. However, resistance within the Guard was immediate and brutal. Pertinax, though skilled and experienced, underestimated the power and resentment of the Praetorians. Just 87 days after taking the throne, he was assassinated by members of the Guard, who stormed the imperial palace and killed him in broad daylight. This act of violence not only ended Pertinax's short reign, but also underscored the growing instability within the empire, where imperial authority had become subordinate to the whims of military forces. Pompeianus, now watching events unfold from afar, seemed justified in his decision to refuse the throne. His refusal spared him from becoming yet another victim of Rome's volatile environment. Even so, his absence was felt as a sign that the empire lacked capable leaders willing to confront the deep challenges of a Rome in crisis. The death of Pertinax brought no solutions, but deepened the chasm of uncertainty consuming the empire. With the Praetorian Guard openly controlling power, the struggle for the imperial throne became increasingly intense and perilous. Let me know in the comments if you already knew about this story of the man who refused the throne 3 times. I'd love to hear your insights. The attempt of Didius Julianus and Pompeianus's final refusal. Imagine a Rome on the brink of collapse. The streets buzzed with rumors and dissatisfaction, while the corrupt and arrogant soldiers of the Praetorian Guard turned the imperial throne into a prize for the highest bidder. It was in this setting that Didius Julianus, a wealthy senator desperate for power, bought his way to the title of emperor. He offered an exorbitant sum to the Praetorians, outbidding other contenders in one of the most disgraceful episodes in Roman history. But the price of the crown was far greater than the gold he had promised. As soon as he assumed the throne, Julianus realized his position was precarious. He was seen as an illegitimate figure, someone who used wealth rather than earning the respect of the legions and the Senate to gain power. His reign began with protests in Rome and insubordination in the provinces, especially among the legions stationed in the north and east, who refused to recognize his authority. Aware that he needed political and military support to survive, Julianus turned to a figure who still commanded respect throughout Rome, Tiberius Claudius Pompeianus. Despite his withdrawal from public life, Pompeianus remained a living legend. His reputation as an honest military and political leader was unquestionable, and his association with the Antonine dynasty still made him a symbol of stability and continuity. Julianus decided to make a bold proposal. He offered Pompeianus the title of co-emperor, suggesting they rule together to restore order to the empire. For Julianus, this alliance could bolster his legitimacy and bring Pompeianus back into the political arena as a trusted mediator. Pompeianus, however, refused for the 3rd time. In his response, he cited advanced age and vision problems as reasons he could not take on a leadership role, but in reality his decision ran much deeper. Pompeianus knew that associating with Julianus, an unpopular and controversial emperor, would bring nothing but dishonor. He recognized that the empire was on the verge of a broader crisis, and that no title was worth the cost of being involved in a government doomed to fail. Pompeianus's refusal was a devastating blow to Julianus. Without the support of a figure as prominent as Pompeianus, Julianus's position became even more precarious. Rumors of conspiracies grew, the legions began pledging loyalty to other leaders, and Julianus's grip on the throne quickly weakened. His attempt to share power with Pompeianus not only failed, but also highlighted his inability to rule alone. Meanwhile, Pompeianus remained isolated on his estates, far from the intrigues of Rome. His refusal was not merely a rejection of power, but a testament to his wisdom and integrity. He chose to protect his legacy and reputation rather than involve himself in a corrupt and unstable political game. But Rome was unprepared. The crisis unfolding behind the scenes would soon escalate, with the empire's fate once again in the hands of generals and politicians vying for the throne with blood and ambition. Pompeianus's refusal marked a turning point as Rome dangerously moved toward a new chapter of instability and conflict. Tiberius Claudius Pompeianus, after decades of exemplary service to the Roman Empire, chose to withdraw from politics and public life. This decision was neither impulsive nor a moment of weakness, but the result of a cold, strategic analysis of the circumstances. He understood that Rome had become a battleground of endless intrigues, where alliances and betrayals were forged and broken within days, and where power was increasingly tied to a tragic fate. With his definitive departure from public life, Pompeianus settled on his estates in the Italian countryside. His choice was strategic. He recognized that proximity to Rome meant being at the center of a highly unstable political environment. The Praetorian Guard, once the protectors of emperors, had transformed into a corrupt political force capable of deciding the throne's fate. The Senate, on the other hand, was divided and weakened, unable to restore order. Emperors rose and fell in rapid succession, victims of coups, conspiracies, or their own unbridled ambition. While many still saw him as a figure capable of leading Rome through the chaos, Pompeianus knew that any attempt to return to power would be futile and dangerous. He had refused the imperial throne on 3 separate occasions, fully aware that in each case the position represented not glory, but a burden he was unwilling to bear. The official reasons he gave, advanced age and vision problems, were plausible justifications, but the true motive was deeper. Pompeianus understood that the Rome of his youth, governed with a blend of pragmatism and strategic vision, had given way to a society eroded by individual interests and poor governance. In his rural estates, far from the turmoil of the capital, Pompeianus found a kind of stability that Rome could no longer offer. His properties were meticulously managed, reflecting his experience as a leader and organizer. He oversaw the harvests, maintained close relationships with local peasants, and embraced the simple life that the provinces could provide. Despite his withdrawal, his name continued to be mentioned with respect in political and military circles, but he was determined not to engage again in the intrigues of power. The events in Rome during this period only reinforced the wisdom of his decision. After the death of Pertinax and the brief rule of Didius Julianus, Rome plunged even deeper into a succession crisis. Legions in various parts of the empire began to declare their own candidates for the throne, resulting in a series of conflicts that further fragmented central power. Pompeianus, now distant, observed these events with caution. He knew that any attempt to intervene would not solve Rome's problems, but would only make him a target of the destabilizing forces dominating the political scene. Despite his absence, Pompeianus remained a symbol of a bygone era when public service was guided by duty and integrity. Many viewed his withdrawal as a loss for the empire, but he understood that staying would have been a mistake, costing him both his life and his reputation. Instead, he chose to preserve what remained of his dignity, staying true to the principles that had always guided his career. As the years passed, his decision proved to be the right one. Rome failed to find stability, and the imperial throne continued to be contested by ambitious generals and politicians. Political chaos weakened the empire, and the inability to establish a stable government became a chronic issue. Meanwhile, Pompeianus lived peacefully, far removed from it all, focusing on his own affairs and the management of his lands. His choice to withdraw was more than a personal decision. It was an act that reflected his deep understanding of the state of the empire and his own place within it. By avoiding the political arena, he escaped the tragic fate that awaited so many other leaders of his time. His life in the countryside was marked by peace and the respect of those around him, a stark contrast to the incessant conflicts consuming Rome. Pompeianus is remembered as an example of wise and prudent leadership. His refusal to engage in a corrupted political arena was not a sign of weakness but of strength and intelligence. He knew when to step away, protecting not only his own life but also the legacy of integrity he had built over years of service to the empire. His story serves as a reminder that sometimes the best decision is to step back and preserve what is most valuable, even amid chaos and the pressure of seemingly unavoidable circumstances. Amazing, isn't it? A man who had the chance to be Roman emperor 3 times and said no. Tiberius Claudius Pompeianus not only lived through one of Rome's most chaotic periods, but also made decisions that left everyone around him shocked and marked history forever. It shows that sometimes the greatest power lies in knowing when to refuse. And remember, whenever you have questions about how Rome was founded or want a simple and easy guide on the subject, just grab the digital book I left in the pinned comment, 10 Battles That Shaped the Roman Empire. Our copies are limited, so get yours today. If you found this story as fascinating as I did, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you won't miss future videos filled with curiosities about the Roman Empire and other incredible stories. Oh, and leave a like. It really helps the channel grow. See you in the next video.